You know him. He's one of the Impractical Jokers. And this guy has probably made more people laugh than anybody. Maybe I'm trying to think of somebody that tickles people that's real famous. I don't even know. But he's probably one of the top 40 or 50 funniest people that you've probably ever even heard of or not heard of. And he's here today. He has a new show on TBS called Misery Index. He has countless seasons of his hit show, The Impractical Jokers. He's one of the Tenderloins, and that's their original group of improvists. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, my friend, Mr. Joe Gatto, or Gatto. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask him right now.
Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories. Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories.
What island is that? How does that rank amongst other islands, you think?
Oh, they call it the Caribbean of of the New York Harbor.
Oh, wow. That's cool, man. I didn't know that. Yeah, I got to go to Staten Island, man.
You never been to Staten Island?
I don't think I've been there. I mean, I always hear you guys talk about it, and you hear a lot of people talk about it, Like
most people go through it because
Yeah.
it's the connector between Brooklyn and Jersey or Long Island and Jersey, So a lot of people go through it, but a lot of people, it's the freeway to see the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you take the Staten Island Ferry, which is free.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Liberty Ferry, which takes you to Liberty Island, and you have to get off and look at the feet of it. And when you're there, there's nothing to do, so you can
Can't
drive
get a good
by.
look at it.
Right. So you get the best look from the ferry. So you see everybody on one side of the boat on the way there, and then one side of the boat on the way back. You're just right hanging out.
Dude, you used to work on the ferry, didn't you?
No.
Did you?
Work on a ferry?
Yeah, did you ever?
Time was tough. Yeah, I panhandled for a while.
No, didn't you a long time ago or no?
No. I didn't work on the ferry.
Yeah, I thought somebody told me that. What was a job that you had that you actually missed that was a long time ago?
I love sales. I was
You
in
did?
sales all the time. Yeah, when I came out here to chase the dream, I was going to be a screenwriter director. That's where I'm hoping to end up. And I came out here to do that in 2003 to 05, and I ended up working at Nordstrom's at the Grove.
Oh, wow.
And I crushed the retail game for a while.
Did you really?
Yeah, crushed it.
What was like one of your go-to moves if somebody wandered in,
I worked in the rail, which is the men's section that sell like high-end jeans and like t-shirts and all
yeah.
that stuff, right? Yeah. So
wow, that's a quality section.
It's a quality section. Yeah, we actually put it on the map. I don't want to brag, but I was a platinum pace setter salesman, number 5 across the country.
Were you really?
Yeah, $1 million in a year, but that's
Oh my
neither here or there. I mean, who's bragging? No one.
And you guys are selling some real wild stuff in there.
Yeah, it was like when Von Dutch hats.
Yeah.
I put one on everybody. I didn't care about
Even newborns, huh? Even stillborns.
That's it, man. $1 is $1. I worked on commission.
Dude, that was a $60 hat.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I used to do the thing because we worked in the men's section when I had a great scheme. It's all commission.
Really?
No hourly. You don't get paid. You don't get paid if you don't sell, right? So that was it. Which
Is
seems
it
illegal.
still? Yeah.
I think it is.
Wow.
So I
You don't
did
get paid. That's like drugs. That's almost like drug
that's like-
trafficking. Yeah. But it's vest.
Yes, it is.
But it's vest.
It's the Von past the Von Dutch. So I did I had like girlfriends who would come in with their boyfriends, and when the boyfriends would come to shop, and I'd be like, "Oh, and you, I'm sure you need some jeans too. Let me take you upstairs and introduce you to Chelsea." And I would go up there, and I would have a deal with Chelsea upstairs, like whatever you sell them, I get 50% of.
Damn.
And it was such a great scheme because you could sell anything in the store. And then eventually I became known there as like, because I was fun and funny, and I didn't really, I was pretty good with people, and I could sell anything. So somebody would be like, "Oh, I need a watch." I'm like, "Yeah, I know watches."
Yeah.
I walk over, I get a key from some guy, be like,
I got you over here.
that's it,
Next thing you know, you got the guy on a Nordic track somewhere on the 5th floor.
They sell like Teslas at the Grove now.
Yeah.
There's a Tesla inside the Nordstrom. There's a Tesla. So I was like, can we sell Teslas? Because I'll go back. I'll forget TV, man. I'm coming back to sell Teslas.
You start wandering. You make deals all across the Grove. So you're wandering out of Nordstrom. You're just a personal shopper.
Then I got recruited. I got poached from Nordstrom to this high end. It's called HT Buttercup. It's a
furniture.
I opened that store.
Did you really?
I did. I was their first personal shopper.
Dude, it's pricey over there.
It's crazy. And I worked out a deal with them that, like, because they have their setup was called Manu-tailers, right? So they have little stores within a big store. So it's a huge bakery.
Kind of like that Fred Siegel.
Yeah. Exactly, right? So they had that whole setup, and I was like, oh, okay, so I want to sell the whole store. And they're like, oh, no, you would just work for this one company. I'm like, oh, that's not what I was told in the interview. And they're like, what? I was like, well, I'm just going to sell everything. So I would just walk around and sell everything to anybody who walked in the door. And I actually helped Jessica Alba with like rugs. Like that was my big thing for a while. I like helped her, like she was there with her brother, and I helped her with like some rugs and stuff. And that was like my claim to fame for a while. And I went around and I was like, yeah, I sold rugs to Jessica Alba. Like, I just jumped it up.
Oh, magic carpets, we call them.
But there was they had an antique section, and there was one guy that worked.
This is at HD Buttercup.
At HD Buttercup, inside one of the manu tails was an antique guy.
Okay,
and it's all commission there too. I worked out a deal where it was hourly plus commission, so I got like 3% or 5%. I think I got 5% there. And I said, okay, I was like, whatever I sell, I get 5% of it. And this guy, and I was like eating tuna fish, like what it's like when you move out here. Like I was like a peanut butter. I couldn't afford the jelly. It was like peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah,
So
and then just squeeze the packet of jelly into your mouth. I would get a bite of the peanut butter sandwich and then squeeze a little bit of the jelly in, dude.
Yeah, just fill your pockets at any condiment
Popeyes
station.
had great jelly too. Some places have shady jelly, I thought, but that's a different chat.
Wait, I don't know if you want us to get into that now. Let's come back. We'll circle back.
Yeah, let's say. So we're at HD Buttercup. You got the antique
section.
So
right.
What happened? What was that? What was
so
the big
I don't
deal
know.
about that?
I don't know shit about antiques. The guy goes on break. He's like, "Hey, I got to go pick up my daughter. I think I had to pick up his daughter from school or something." He's like, "Do you mind just watching us till we close?"
Yeah.
Nobody ever went in there.
Oh, listen to all the white privilege in that guy's life, huh? His daughter's at school.
Yeah, he's like, I go pick her up, or whatever he had to do, or he had a doctor appointment or a funeral. I can't remember.
If he's antiquing, it's probably a funeral. Probably going to do a little
just research. He's like, let me go get a bureau, right? So he goes on break, and a woman walks in. I was like, oh, could you help me with, she's like, I'm looking for an antique chest. And I'm like, sure. So I walk in, and I hadn't hardly ever walked into this because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you could fake, right? So I get in, and she's like,
yeah, this is from a battleship.
Yeah, right. Like it's all.
Oh, this smells like Lincoln.
I'm like, yeah, this has got mahogany and Lincoln. That's what this is right here. I'm just throwing out terms. So she was like, she walked in and she fell in love with this like armoire, this like big.
Oh yeah, those are real nice.
And I was like, oh, this is real nice. She's like, oh, I think my husband will like this. It was like, I think it was like an anniversary gift or something. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I could get you the information. She's like, oh no, I'll take it. And this guy's on lunch, and I work on commission, 5%. And I'm like, all right. And I look at the price, like it was $40,000, and I was like, where would you like that delivered? And that was like,
and you put it on your back right there.
And I was like, I got an Uber for it. It's back in the day, so there wasn't even that. Like, I'll carry this. I will walk all of Culver City for you.
You had to know, you had to know a couple Tongans or Hawaiians to fucking, you know what I'm saying? That was furniture movement.
It's a big time.
But before they came here, there was this furniture that stayed where it was.
All over. It's like you moved to the furniture.
Yeah,
you're like, this isn't my dresser. I live here now. Yeah, but that was my big thing, and then I moved back to New York.
And so when you made that move back to New York, had you like kind of given up on some of that like that dream a little bit? Like was it a little bit of that move? Because I mean, we've all done a little bit of that move at some point. I think like there was a point I was out here for like 6 years, and then I moved back to Louisiana for a while, and I was doing margaritas or something, or making margaritas for at a real halfway house of a fucking tacoteria. You know, it was like a tacos, they had like this real shady cafe with tacos, and then they had a bar like hooked to it.
Really?
Yeah, and they had the margarita machine, and I broke it. I did the settings wrong, and then I had to pretend like it wasn't broke, dude.
It was like Johnny Buffett's Margaritaville.
Yeah, it was real shady.
Yeah. One off.
Yeah, it was like it was like Che Guevara's Margaritaville or something. People are like, this is. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So when you moved back, was it because of
Well, when I moved back, my grandma had passed away. My grandmother and my mother became widows together, like within like 5 days of each other. So they always had each other. So my mom was like alone now.
Oh.
So I felt like, and you know what? I was like, it's at my grandmother's funeral. Actually, my hand was kind of forced. At my grandmother's funeral, I had come in from L.A. and I said to my mom, I was like, you know what, maybe I'll move back to New York, just out loud, like just stream of cars. I was like, oh, maybe I'll move back to New York in a little bit. And she started crying and hugged me, said, thank you. I was like, okay, I guess I'm moving back to New York. Like, I can't be like, back off, lady, Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll move back. So I decided
And you guys are pretty close, you and your mom?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
So,
super.
So at that point, you don't really have a choice then if if you guys are close and she wants you back.
Yeah, so I came back and I moved back into her basement. As all, good 30-year-old sons do.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fire up the record player, dude.
Yeah, we it's the same basement actually where before I moved is where the Tenderloins used to rehearse. My the boys, we used to rehearse down there. Me, Salmer, and our friend Mike used to, before we did our shows, we used the same basement. So I ended up living where I was doing improv rehearsal. So, I was in a good mental space. Yeah. and I ended up getting a job because of out here in retail at that one of the Manutailers there. Brought me into a show at the Jacob Javits Center. It was just this big furniture show at the Javits Center, like where people come to meet new, vendors and stuff.
Okay, where's Javits Center? That's in Staten Island?
It's in Manhattan. It's the big conference center there in Manhattan. So
Okay.
it's like the design center here or whatever, like one of those where they had those big conferences, huge. It's where Comic-Con is in New York.
Right.
So they I decided to help her out with this thing, and I'm just, selling bullshitting and just selling all this stuff to people who are coming in to open in stores. And this one woman came up to me. Her name was Allie, and she was the CEO of a new store called Giggle, a baby store. And so I started selling her some stuff, and she really liked me.
You could easily sell something to a baby. Dude.
Yeah, I mean,
but they don't have the money they have though. They got
you just have to make it look
money.
cute, shake it, make sure it makes noise.
Yeah.
Don't shake the baby, the toy.
Wow. Dude, kids nowadays. Dude,
they're resilient.
Yeah, well, they had this lady the other day, and she goes, "Man, these children." Her kid was being bad. She goes, "These children act like they've been here before." That's what she said.
That's a great saying. Well, they got nothing to lose. They don't know any better.
I know. I was like, that is kind of true. And some of these little assholes, they just act like they've been here.
Yeah, it's funny because between my son and daughter, I'm always like, oh, it's like she acts super different. My daughter is 4, my son's 2, and my 2-year-old son acts completely different than my 2-year-old daughter did. Like my daughter was all prim and proper. Like you go, go color, and she'd sit in the corner for 4 hours with just coloring with a crayon. It's like
dude, the little women, I feel like they want to change the world. They have some inkling of hope and stuff. And the boys, a lot of them are violent.
Violent and dumb, just running around, knocking stuff over. Yeah. That's my boy. That's my Remo.
Yeah. It's almost crazy to watch them. You're like, what is going on? These kids are they're bananas.
You kind of want to pull them over and be like, listen, you don't know things yet, but this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not what's going
This
on.
isn't how you do it. Dude, my little nephew used to hide on top of shit, like on bookshelves and shit, and be real quiet and fucking surprise you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like 19 months old. I'm like, that's insane. There's no way he got up there by natural causes.
No.
You know what I'm saying? This dude ain't no fucking...
He's so seek that out. He's like, we're going to make some happen right now.
You could tell he'd definitely been like envisioning being up on that shelf, and then he just woke up there one morning, This ain't no free solo baby right here.
It's all about the angle. He's like, let's do the most damage. Come down strong.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was really... Yeah, some of these children, they're just wild. They got the Edgar Allan Poe in them, Something's going on. Yeah. They got dirty birds in the back of their brain.
Yeah.
But so now Tenderloins. Now, one story that I love about you guys as a group of Impractical Jokers is that Tenderloins is y'all's original group. And was there members that we don't know about? Were there other members? Because you mentioned the guy Mike.
Yeah. There was 2 that we brought on. One was Mike was the original. Mike Baccio. Went to high school with him as well.
Wow.
And Quinn. Just Quinn. Q didn't. He didn't go that way. And Botch actually got a job and grew up and he got married and everything, like before all of us. Like he became a grown up, and the rest of us were like trying to do improv, and it just didn't match with his schedule anymore. Like we would want to shoot like on a Wednesday at like 4 o'clock. He's like, guys, I'm at work. Like, what are you talking about? I can't be there.
Right.
So he just kind of went the way and was very successful in family and love and money on his own way. He runs like he's in the PR and stuff. So we see him all the time.
Oh, nice.
We're so friends with him and stuff.
Wow. Is it not hectic, but is it like, is it interesting to think like, oh, if he would have been there, does he ever do you guys ever lament on it a little bit? I mean,
we always go down
in a positive way.
Yeah. We always go down like the what if it was there, or what if there was 5? Like what if Q came on and him? Like it's not more even like a Q or him. It's more like, oh, what if? Because a lot of this, Q was a huge part of the puzzle for us because we had moved into video.
Right.
And scripting and writing stuff, and Q is a very strong writer and good with story and stuff. So he helped us with that part of the deal, like the really different kind of humor than us a little bit at that time. We were really corny, and he was like, fun corny. Like people liked it, but like he was like, oh, what if we're like gave a little edge, and stuff, a little dark, which sometimes was just fun too. Like and the combination of all of our sensibilities, I think, really was the right perfect. We were making a margarita,
right?
That was the right. If you're making a janky ass margarita,
you can't have the baby powder like somebody. And anybody else was there?
There was a guy that jumped in for a little bit, Gideon, who was an actor friend of ours that moved to New York from Florida.
Oh, nice.
A friend of ours, and he filled in for a little bit too, and he was like a 5th while Botch was still with us.
Have you ever done an episode that where you guys had them pop in or anything?
No, we actually used Botch's daughter, Sienna, in one of the times where like sometimes we take it to the park and we have our daughter like as an actress or whatever,
Yeah.
and we use Botch's daughter.
Oh,
Sienna.
that's cool.
And we did it twice. We just did something recently with her. I don't think it aired yet with her as well. We brought her back to like surprise Sal and stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So they're in the mix, and we see, talk and stuff, but it's fun that, the Tenderloins is really what I came back to. So like when
you got back home, that was
home.
Tenderloins.
Yeah, we came back in, and I was like, okay, so I'm back now. Because when I was away for 2 years, like they didn't do any live shows. They only did a show when I came home. So I came home. I think I did 2 or 3 shows where I came home. I'm like, hey, I'm home. Let's put a show up, and we put an improv show up, and we'd go and do it. But besides that, it was kind of defunct. It didn't really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You had to have everybody there.
Yeah. So now I was like, Joe's back. He's like, all right, what are we doing? And then we got into like, that's when MySpace took off and all the like, sketch comedy on the internet.
Yeah.
So we started doing sketches.
And what about videos? Nick, do you know, what is a tenderloin? What is it? I know a tenderloin is a meat.
Yeah, it's a meat. It's a cut of meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? Can you look that up? Do you mind? I want to see what cut this thing is so I know.
So you could put it to us.
I just want to visualize, what's going on here. The tender is part of a loin of beef, pork, etc.
Yeah.
So that's probably taken from under the short ribs in the hindquarters, dude.
Yeah, the hindquarters. That's Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so we fill everybody in, right?
Okay. Yeah. And then
But
it's also
this is the good one.
Let's go into the second one. A district of a city where vice and corruption are prominent.
Q. So we're just missing me. I guess I'm the short ribs.
Okay. We'll do it, man. That's perfect.
Well, yeah, because in San Francisco there's a famous section called the Tenderloin District.
Dude,
that's where shit went down, man. The story of that.
Drugs. Dude, I
Crazy.
actually have video on my phone of some people blowing each other from our hotel window one year.
Yeah, we had walked by when we did the San Francisco Sketch Fest back in the day, and we were staying in we thought it'd be funny if the Tenderloin stayed in the Tenderloin District, not knowing, right? So we're walking back from a 7-Eleven that had an iron fence and like you had to come in to a 7-Eleven, which I was like, this is not good. Dude. Bulletproof glass, like to enter, like you went into like a little thing to walk around that was bulletproof. It's like a little car, like a little Pope cart taking you around, right?
Bro, whatchamacallits, bro. So people want to whatchamacallit.
We came back and we walked down one street. I'm not even kidding. There was just like 3 separate things of fucking going on, and there was like 2 cops that were like looking at like a body just like this, and we were like, and we didn't know if the guy was dead or just passed out. And then when we walked back to our hotel room, like that might have been a murder scene. They just found it. It was like, oh well, Jim, here we go. We got to find out.
Yeah.
It was.
We're gonna start it up. Yeah, that Tenderloin's crazy, man. I remember we went to this thing called Beta Breakers a while back there. And it was like this, it was a race, I guess, where people start, I guess, at the bay and then they run like the bridge or something.
Yep.
Well, we did a bunch of mushrooms and we didn't, I don't know, we weren't really in the race or anything. But at one point we took over a table. Somebody had a table where they had all the cups of water, and we took it over right in the middle. And I'm just flying on mushrooms at this point, dude. I'm looking, the Lord's looking for me, and I'm looking for him, know. We're gonna meet up that afternoon. But and people were running by in this race, it's tens of thousands of people in this race. And when they get close, someone would try to get the water, and we'd be like, no, it's for Asian people only. So you had so many people, and they're running. They have to keep going. There's a huge flow of people. They can't argue or discuss it.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, it's Asians only. And they're like, and they just keep on fucking moving.
Passing out from dehydration a quarter mile down the road.
All these Irish people stacking up at the curb at the next turn, just boom, boom. And Asian people were just so happy,
Super
bro.
hydrated.
Oh, yeah, just flying, bro. It was just so bizarre, though.
Such a great choice.
Dude, we laughed for so long. We just sat there, and somebody had deserted their stand, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This was like, this you get probably, hindquartered back in the military for this. Somebody deserted their, their water stand, and we just took it over, dude. We're on mushrooms. We're just serving it out.
A deserted stand is a way I made a lot of my jokes early in my career. Not even like before, just me being me with my friends. Like,
because you have so much. Because then you have a position of power.
I walked out. I was a host at any restaurant where the thing was. And I would go as far as I could. Like there was a Perkins by me in Staten Island.
Oh yeah.
So I would go to Perkins at night, and I would literally end up working the whole Perkins. Like I'd walk in, it would be like 11 o'clock at night. People walk in, I'm like, how many?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? If you say how many to anyone, anywhere with authority, you'll get an answer, and I promise you that. And you could be anywhere. How many in your party? 2? Yeah, that's it. Let's get you a table for 2.
There's 2.
I start answering the phone.
Yeah.
Like I would answer. I would take to-go orders, hang up, not know what to do. These people are waiting. Like, I didn't care. Sal used to hate. There was 2 things Sal used to hate.
Oh, it embarrassed him?
Oh my God, the worst.
Hilarious.
But he loved it and hated it. Yeah. But there was 2 things he used to hate the worst. One was taking the elevator with me. Because I didn't give a shit. And then 2,
he's like, oh, how many floors is this? Only 9. I'm gonna take the stairs.
Yeah. 2. He used to take stairs all the time. 2 was what do you call it? 2 was waiting for a table at a restaurant with me. Because like when I'm in a waiting situation, I get bored and I'm like, what can I do here that's going to be fun for me? And I don't even care if other people are watching or laughing. I just like do stuff for myself half the time,
right?
And then they would enjoy watching that, So
did you do that kind of stuff when you were a kid? Is it instigation you think that you kind of like, or is it? I'm trying to think of what the element is that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Is it surprise? Is it instigation? Like, what is the thing that attracts you, to do that sort of stuff? I'm just trying to think of the thing in your head that's like.
I wasn't like that at all. Growing up, I was super geeky. It wasn't until junior year of high school when I started. The first time I did improv at high school, we did high school improv together. That's how.
Jesus, that'd be horrible.
And Sal made me go to it. Like he was like, you should come. You're funny. I used to have lunch with him all the time. He's like, you're funny. You should come and try. And I was like, nah. And then I was like, I couldn't do it. And then in high school, I got bullied a little bit and stuff. And I used it. I turned the tables in high school because I would reverse bully the football players. Like I remember the moment where one guy walked by and like they said something, whatever, and I knocked the books out of the linebacker's hand, like on the floor. And I went, pick them up like that. And he laughed. He said, I'm sorry, sir. And he picked them up and laughed. And I said, better. And I walked away and everybody lost it laughing. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I just started like bullying. Like I was 104 pounds on the math team, bowling team. Like I was like not anything, right? So
on the bullying team too. Some schools have a bullying team.
So, that's part of the problem, I think, in America, when you have a bullying team.
So you just kind of said, oh, I'm going to flip the script. And
so I did that, and I was like, oh, that was kind of the way I dealt with it, / it made me feel good. And then also the thing that I really liked about it was it really took a turn to the whole high school. We went, our class, we went to old boy Catholic high school. So what are you doing besides messing with each other and read the part, right?
Farting, really.
There are 300 people in the class. And I really felt a moment there where it was like, oh, everybody's having fun with this. Yeah. And it was like kind of like bullying kind of like went away with my class. It kind of was just like, oh, we're all just fucking around together. Like it didn't matter. Like, so I felt like that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And that just kind of like carried me throughout my whole career all the way to here. Now, like that's a big thing for me. But I was like,
perception almost.
Yeah, it was perception. And then I was like, that gave me like a weird confidence. And I think confidence is definitely my key. Like I'll try to pull off anything. I don't,
you're strange too. Also being strange because I remember seeing you at the Wild West Comedy Fest, and I knew about you guys as a group, but I'd never spent any time with any of you.
Yeah, that's where we met you. Right?
Yeah, that's where I met you. Yeah, and so we're at some bar after party, and all your crew's all raging and stuff and having fun and the life of the party. I mean, the group. And there's one guy who's just, I think that song, We're Not Gonna Take It was on or something, right?
Yeah.
And there's one guy who's standing on a table, like right up against the wall, facing the wall, just beating the wall, dude. And nobody else is really kind of involved in what he's doing, right? Yeah. But he's like the centerpiece. It's like he's this odd ornament, this Christmas ornament in the middle of summer, bro, And that was you.
That's
and I'm
me.
like,
yeah.
Damn. Yeah. I said, damn, that guy's fucked up, dude.
And that's the thing.
Yes.
I don't drink, don't smoke, never took a drug in my life. I never even tried a cigarette. And everybody thinks I am so high on coke.
Oh, I thought I was like, that guy's fucked.
Yeah. I have an energy my body shouldn't have. Like I just go because what I love about that moment is that gives anyone license in the room to be weird because I'm going to be weirder. Yeah. Like don't even worry about it because it'd always be like, well, at least you're not that guy. Like that's the guy I am in a party. It's like, oh, it could be. Look at this guy. He's crazy. Sal spent most of his life explaining that I wasn't drunk to people. Like that's really what we have to do when we'd go out. He'd be like, these guys would be like, he's fun. Look at it. His shirt's off. He's doing the worm in the middle of the club through hot models. Like I don't care. I was doing anything. Like,
it was beautiful.
Yeah. So
it was inspiring. Kind of was like, oh man, I want to have that much fun.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what people get when they watch your show, or when they watch of Jokers and watched it over the years. It's like, oh, I want to have that much fun, I guess.
Well, the show quickly became not anything about like pranks or anything. It really became just friendship on display.
Yeah.
And that's what people really took to. And that's why, everybody always feels like they know that friend. Like if you watch a show and you didn't know us, I imagine you'd be able to like, oh, I got a guy like Sal, or I know a guy like, well, nobody's really got a Murr, but everybody's like, I got a guy like him, in your clique or growing up. So I think there's part of that people really, that talks to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you when you think about like kind of like the next steps and stuff, because at a certain point, like you guys have all grown so much, does it start to seem, I know you have the new show now that you're doing, the Misery Index, but do you mentioned directing and stuff earlier, do you start to like think about things like that, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I've always had, I never thought this would be it. I never want to be in front of the camera.
Yeah,
ever.
dude, you just were trying to fucking work at Nordstrom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to fold
It will
pants.
not end.
I'm just trying to sell high-end T-shirts. Let a guy work his Pima cotton.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to get Pima cotton to the people. But I did like I was always behind the camera guy, always directing, producing. That's always what I wanted to do. Even the Tenderloins stuff, like I always did. Like those, like one of our most famous sketches. I'm barely in because I was like directing and like I love editing and all that stuff.
Right.
And even with this show, like that's what I do. Like I help show run this whole thing.
Oh,
from start
okay,
to
you
bottom.
do.
I jump
Oh,
in.
wow.
I was the first one that had to quit my job full time. So I kind of got like, I was like, guys, are we doing this? Because I got to give up on Giggle. Like I had to quit Giggle. Everybody else was able to work both jobs. Q was still a fireman. Sal still owned it was still bartender in the old.
Well, let's say, look, still a fireman is a unique term as well. I'm not saying I love firemen, right?
Yeah.
Especially if there's a fire going on.
The number one person you want to see.
Yeah. But when there's not a fire, dude, they're basically people that are training for the hot dog eating contest.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. But good people at heart.
Playing softball.
That's what they're doing.
Professional softball
That's what
players.
they're doing. Yeah, discussing sports, like that's what they do. But they, so everybody had their job to fall back on, and I was like, I have to be all in. When we shot the pilot, she gave me 2 weeks off, and then when it was like, hey, you got to shoot the first season, we're gonna do it over the next 6 months. I was like, hey, CEO, I'm gonna need 6 months off, and she's like, I can't do that. She's like, doors open. If it doesn't work out, you could come back.
But you guys, and the Tenderloins, though, you guys did. A lot of people don't know. You guys had years of trying.
16 years.
And have also did a couple of pilots that didn't take.
Failed. Yeah. We had two. One for Spike.
Yeah.
And then one for.
Remember Spike? Is that still a network?
I don't think it is.
In the end, I think it was just cars like crashing into each other.
Yeah, no, I think it was cars crashing and like a music video segment, or no, it wasn't like a top 10 worst list. Like then it become one of those stations where it was just like it did a countdown shows and stuff. Yeah.
They just rebranded it to Paramount Network now, so it's just like a regular channel again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not for men anymore.
No, yeah, it was
it was supposed to be for men. Remember,
it was the men. Well, True. When we joined True, the slate was insane that our show was even on. It was every tow truck show, 3 different titles: Lizard Lick Towing, South Beach Tow, and another one that I forgot. And then knockoff shows for like Pawn Stars. It was called.
Oh yeah, they had that.
I think it was called Pawn. No, what was it? It was like the Pawn Brothers or something like that. So whatever, they had a show, and then it was our comedy like in it. And now True is like a top comedy network, which is so like weird that happened. It's so cool that they took that chance and it all like kind of happened. But like if you looked at our show in the beginning, it was like, what the hell is this? Like, how does it even there? So
how are these guys going to fit in here?
Fit in here at all?
And did you guys worry about that, or did you?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, because we were on the table for MTV or True.
Wow.
But MTV wanted to make it a strip show 5 days a week and recast us. And they were like, we love the concept. The show's great. Friends do things together.
And now they're basically the Rob Dyrdek network.
Basically.
There's nothing on there but Rob Dyrdek. Yeah. Oh, Hardcore Pawn.
Hardcore Pawn. Yeah, that was it. That was the knockoff of the other one. So they had their own versions of things, and they were all pretty successful for their market. Like if you liked tow truck shows, that's where you were going.
Right.
Like, if you liked,
yeah. If you like shit, Repossession.
Repossession basically across the board. And their other big one was Bait Car. Remember that shit show where they would just have a car basically like running like a BMW in the middle of the projects with the door open. It was playing Jay-Z. Yeah. And it was like, there's like a hot pizza in it,
Yeah, definitely. That's crazy.
A cooler full of beer. It's like, oh, what do you mean? I'll get in it and drive away.
There was like a parole officer in the back seat.
It was like Afghan. He pop up. Yeah, it was crazy, that show.
Yeah, that show was crazy.
I can't believe
How is that legal?
And that was it's like, they should have called it entrapment.
Yeah.
Every episode was just a running car in the projects.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens now. Someone's gonna steal a car. I don't want to spoiler alert you. I don't have to tune in. It's not must see TV. It's not like Ross and Rachel are gonna get back together. This guy's gonna steal this car. What do you want to see?
What's your crime of choice? Do you think if you have one, man?
Oh, mine?
Yeah,
definitely embezzlement.
Is it really?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I love like the whole like heist movie stuff. Like I would think like anything that like get weird, like be able to.
Could you have done it in the past? Nowadays, it's tougher. There's not even as much cash sitting around.
Yeah, you need cash. Like if I could go back in time and be any like sort of like pull off any big scheme, it would definitely be like a nice bank robbery in like the early 30s.
Yeah,
yeah. That's
would you be already working at the bank? Because I could see you having 100%. that vest and the little pocket.
Oh man, I'm big on a change.
Thing.
Yeah, like know what time it is, right? And the little changing, ching, 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 30 cents back, like that shit. I'm all about that. I'm all about that life. 1930s teller right here, man.
Yeah.
I'd be a bank manager to get the inside scoop, that kind of deal. Then I'd make them fire me in a fantastic way, and then I think I would know the lay of the land, and I would get my, my next door neighbor involved.
Yeah.
I'd probably blackmail somebody. Blackmail could be fun too.
Yeah. Those are the good old days when you could do a crime.
Yeah.
Before we had DNA, remember?
No, man, DNA ruined crime for everybody. Stupid science getting in the way.
Yeah, back in the day when you had to actually do some detective work, because now every murder you watch, the cops have no idea until 7 years later when they can afford the DNA test.
That's right. It's like I'm never gonna know anything about like that stupid swab your mouth thing. Did you do that? Like the 23andMe or that?
Yeah, I did it.
Did you
mail
do
it in. Yeah, I fucked up.
You did it.
I fucked up.
What'd you?
But if I do a crime, I want to go to jail for it anyway. I'm not going to be one of these people who's going to do a crime and like hide all the time. I'm going to go to jail.
That's what I like about you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're right up front all the time.
Yeah, I'd rather go and get my time done and get out.
Yeah. When you said I did it wrong, I thought I was like, what'd you swab that you did it wrron?
Oh yeah,
I fucked up. Like what'd you do?
I don't remember exactly. I think I did the mouth.
Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah.
Back in the day, like whoa, send Vaughn back. That ain't right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think because a lot of people, I guess they're attaching people to murders and crimes now because of that.
Yeah. I never did it because I didn't really have an interest because I feel like the only way that you could find out if a parrot is male or female is that you have to have it tested. And I had a parrot for a while and I was like, what difference does it make to me? I don't care. If it lays an egg, okay, mystery solved. If not, no difference.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like,
I don't treat animals differently if they're male or female.
No. Do you have animals?
I never have.
Okay.
Oh, well, when I was young, I did, but I never have as an adult. But I meant I never have treated animals differently, whether they were male or female.
Oh.
But I remember asking, I'll ask a waiter, yeah, is this fish male or female? Sometimes if I order a salmon or something,
That's a good one.
Just to kind of see, and a lot of times they'll go check. And sometimes they'll come back with an answer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, ugh.
I guess there's no, what I would love in that scenario is when they came back with an answer, you just go wrong and get up and walk out.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to pull something off.
Wrong, yeah. And open something up with a knife, just show them a part of the fish. What is that?
You tell me that. That's a fish dick.
Yeah. You fucking tell me that. Hide something in there.
That's it,
Jesus.
Now you know what a fish dick looks like.
All right. Today's episode, I got to let you know if you're a gambling person, man or woman, or somebody that's between sexes, but they like to lay a little wager down on something, that my bookie is the place to do it. People gamble. They've been doing it for centuries, hundreds of thousands of years. A lot of times they see on cave walls, they'll find hieroglyphs of people drew dice on the wall. But at the end of a hard week, it's great to sit down and just lay a few dollars on your favorite squad, And especially since it's football time. And I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with my bookie if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing if you're going to bet this season and bet with them. They're my bookie. If you're the kind of guy that likes to bet a little and win a lot, do a parlay, pick a couple teams, enjoy a whole weekend experience. Bet on this, bet on that, bet on something. Join now and my bookie will double your first deposit. Use promo code Theo to activate the offer. That's promo code THEO. Now, if you have a gambling problem, I don't maybe think that you should do it. But if you like to gamble and you can control yourself and handle it, then the place to do that at is mybookie.ag. That is mybookie.ag today. Use promo code Theo to activate the offer. That's promo code THEO. Mybookie.ag. Play, win, get paid. I've become a new business owner with this podcast, and just dang with life. Life gets busy sometimes, and you want to be efficient. We live in a time of efficiency. And what if you could make your work take less work? That's a really good thing. Well, you can with Capterra. Capterra, they help you find the right software for your needs. You have needs. And so you can get back to business faster. And you can get your business done quicker. It's just, instead of milling all around, you get right into the action. Capterra helps you find the software that will minimize the time you're spending. Compare thousands of software options, read reviews, and instantly narrow to your favorites. You'll have more time in no time. Find the right software right now to streamline your business at Capterra, CAPTERA.com/THEO. Now that could be maybe you have 4 employees and you don't know how to delineate who should do what. And it would be better if you had a system that helped you do that. Capterra could help you. Maybe you need to sell something and you need the orders to be processed a certain way and then sent to a certain person who's going to help you with distribution. And right now you got 3 or 4. You got your grandmother in there and she's driving across town with the ticket and all. You don't need it. You can tighten it up, and that's Capterra.com/Theo. It's the leading free online resource to help you find the best software solution for your business with over 1 million reviews of products from real software users. Visit Capterra.com/THEO for free today to find the tools to make an informed software decision for your business. That's CAPTERRA.com/Theo. Software selection simplified. And now back to the episode with Mr. Joe Gatto. Do you guys must run out of ideas? I mean, when did you run out of ideas, honestly, for your shows?
When
did you have to bring in help?
It wasn't that we had to, it was that we could afford to.
Right.
So we're going into season, we just wrapped season 8 and season 9 we start up in January. And we actually hit our 200th episode this season. And like literally we had the conversation at the end of season 1 was like, okay, now what do we do? Like, cause we were like so many ideas you have to go through because never mind the ones that make the TV, right? Because our episodes, if you think about it, we do 26 episodes a season and there's 3 to 4 bits per episode.
Right.
So quick math. Bits. Yeah, that's 14 million, quick math. So like that's bits that you have to come up with, right? Oh. And inside those bits are jokes, right? So you have to do all that. And if you break it down, it really could be very overwhelming. So then we started to say, okay, what's just fun and what's just funny and what's weird to do. So like we went from that and there's so much, if you think about like, it's like, let's just try to hold somebody's hand, see how it goes. And we would try it with 4 different people and we get 4 different outcomes and there's a bit, and then we would start thinking about, okay, instead of the goal of just being this or that, let's think about what could be something different. And one thing that we had was try not to laugh. Like that, when we broke that and made that a goal, that opened up a whole new stream of things. So it wasn't just like, oh, only do uncomfortable stuff. It's like, oh, do shit that's really funny that's going to make your friend laugh and if you can't laugh.
Yeah.
So that opened up like a whole thing in a couple of our big bits like the Cranges McBasketball where we say weird names in a waiting room or like where we did the 2-way mirror where like stuff's going on behind you and you have to watch it and you have to continue to do this focus group with somebody and not laugh. So a lot of that happened.
One of my favorites you guys did, it's like but I see what you're saying. So once you open up like a new kind of like edge to it, you're like, oh, here's a whole new world of stuff we can do. Now that we have goals, now that you have to try not to laugh. That's a whole thing. Yeah. It's like you can almost do everything you already did before and then just make sure the other guys aren't laughing.
And then we had to establish our show long enough for the first 4 or 5 seasons. Like we wouldn't use an actor before that because we wanted people to know and believe us that it's real. The show's got to be real. It doesn't work for us, right? So if somebody knows our show, they're not on it.
Right.
So then we brought in like actors as weapons where we like, one of the first bits we did was watch my grandpa. Like we were in the mall and we had to pretend we had to take a piss and be like, do me a favor, could you watch my grandpa for me? Yeah. And we had to talk them into watching our grandfather. And if they watch him, you win. And we'd walk away. And when we did that, unscripted, the grandpas added such a great element. Like they just went and started talking. Yeah. And it was like, this is really funny. So let's see what we do. Let's do that with kids. And okay, now let's
watch my kid.
Yeah, watch my kid. And then we started doing things.
Seen that.
Find my actor. Like we would plant an actor inside. Like Murray was a waiter for one of his punishments in Delmonico's, a high-end steakhouse. Yeah. And we hid an actor with a wig on, and we're like, you got to find a wig. So he's walking around pulling people's hair as we're eating, trying to find the wig. And real people like, what the hell, kind of deal. So all those little pieces. For the first 6 weeks. The first 4 weeks of our pre-production, it's a 6-week thing. The writers are together. our comedy.
And do you get paid extra as a writer and producer?
You do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in the room, and then we come in for the last 2 weeks of the 6 week, and we start hearing all they pitched, and then when we like something, we'll all talk it out, figure it out, and then we'll start stacking it up and being like, okay, here's our production schedule.
So if you like to be the most involved, who is just kind of the most like show up and they do it every time, and it's just better for them to be that way?
Q.
Yeah.
Yeah, Q is very much trusting of it. He'll have his moments where he's like, "Oh, I got this idea, I want to do this." But Q, for the most part, when he shows up, he's like, "What are we doing today? All right, let's get in there and do it." You know? Sal is very analytical. Oh, he's a student of comedy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's really just like. That's the way his brain works. He really just. But I always say that Sal and I normally get to the same place. I just get there way faster because I'm a gut kind of guy. I'm like, I'm very decisive. I'm like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're not. And he'll, just work out every permutation, tell you why it won't work, break holes in it, and sometimes we prove him wrong, and sometimes he proves us wrong. It's like it's a good balance. And then Murr's like in the middle of all that. Like I would say Sal's on one end, I'm on the other, and Murr is like pretty much dead center between those two things. He'll think about something for a little bit and then get there, or he'll have ideas where he's like, "That's funny, that's hysterical." Because sometimes he'll just say something. It's like, "What if we make Joe a massage chair?"
Right.
It's funny. You know what I mean? You don't have to think about anything. Like it's funny
easy.
to see it. Have strangers sit me in costume, and I'm a fake massage chair. They make me this fake massage chair.
Yeah, you guys have. There was one of my favorites that it's at a buffet, and I think it's like putting things on people's plates or taking.
We've done a bunch of different ones. One of them was.
Because I love buffets, bro.
Yeah, buffets are great.
When I was growing up, they had finally got a buffet in our town, dude, and people were fucking
losing their mind, right?
Oh, dude, somebody shot out the windows, bro, from the inside, dude. That's how excited people were. It wasn't like a drive-by.
I get more chicken.
This dude fucking went in there. He was so fired up. He couldn't stand there being anything between him and the fucking Lord, so he shot those windows out. But yeah, it's I mean, I remember, buffets were everything, man. Back when if you were in a place, just imagine they could have all that stuff in one place. You know?
I remember when I went to Vegas with my family growing up. The first time we went to a buffet in Vegas, and it's not like a Vegas buffet. Stand alone. World class.
I remember, dude. Our buffet was decently long. I wouldn't say it was real long, but I remember when we were kids, we would try to hold our breath and walk from one end of it to the other, just to try and, just because we were just enamored by the length of just, food and different delicacies.
Like a pool, like trying to swim under one hole, like trying to make it one or the other.
Yeah,
I mean, a salad.
Ready to the salad.
Yeah. Do you remember when, I don't know, Wendy's out in New York, they did the salad bar, which was basically a buffet, but it was open salad bar, so you could just make your own salad. You buy the salad bowl, and it was all you could eat salad.
Wow,
and
Wendy's?
Wendy's in Staten Island, and they had a huge toppings, so they had everything. Like besides your croutons and your norm, they had like buckets. It was like just all these different things.
Sunflower seeds. Sometimes they put some
sunflower seeds, right? A pumpkin seed. You get but then it was like beets. That's how I was introduced to beets. I was like,
leaf
what are these
tobacco?
red things?
I remember that being a topping once. I was like, I don't know if that's a topping.
Corn dog. It's like, yeah. So like all these weird, they'll pickle anything. So it was like, I remember that. And I remember being like, I'm going to get a salad. And I was like, that's an ingenious way to make kids eat like kind of like healthy, because it was like a fun way to eat salad,
Right. Yeah, buffet, man. I remember I just can't even believe.
I used to get myself so sick on shrimp cocktail. Like I would just get so nauseous I would just crunch, fucking pop them things. Yeah, man.
Dude, I ate the tails for the first 2 years when I had shrimp cocktails, dude.
Nobody explained that to you?
I'd eat the whole tail. No, I did it by choice, dude.
my good friend does. You know him, Justin. He was the DJ on the cruise. Justin Gerace, DJ Gerace.
Yeah.
He eats the tails to this day. Yeah,
dude. One of my favorite things from the cruise, and we'll talk about the cruise in a second. Michael Ian Black. So I went on you guys' first cruise. Yep. Michael Ian Black was on the cruise, right? So he had to do bingo. Like everybody on the cruise, kind of you performed, and you also like did a game or did something. You were just involved,
Yeah.
And he did bingo, and he was like trying to be all funny and stuff. And the people that came to play bingo, they didn't give a fuck, bro. Okay,
they came to play bingo, man.
Yeah. Read it. Read it. Lady beating her cane against the wall.
There's real stakes.
Oh, dude, yeah, dude.
He's like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah.
It makes his job easier. She just fired through all the things.
It was so funny, but he almost couldn't handle the fact that they didn't want any comedy with it.
It's a comedy cruise. It's not a bingo cruise.
Dude, that was so much fun. Gilbert Gottfried was on there, and he looked just like a baby that was on the cruise ship too. Some lady had a baby, like an 11-month-old. It looked just like him.
Yeah, so I did this side by side. I took a picture. Right there.
Yeah, beautiful.
That was where we hung out for the first time in real, like, because when we did the comedy festival, we hung out a little bit, but there was a lot of people around.
Yeah, there was a lot of people
You and I
around.
spent a lot of time together on that first cruise.
Yeah, that cruise was great, man.
Yeah, that was great.
God, that thing was so much fun, dude.
We caused some trouble on thing. You and I had fun on that. Yeah, you were.
The gambling. You got to shut the gambling down one night.
No, we took
There's
over the
no
whole thing.
chips or no
No,
something.
they ran out of chips. We won.
Yeah, you fucking won.
we have to get more chips. I'm like, go get chips, man. I gotta get paid.
There's like 19 people working there, and they just shut down suddenly.
Yeah.
And that skill crane, so many alcohol. I met 2 alcoholic guys playing that skill crane on the ship, and they ended up making my T-shirts for about 4 years.
Really?
A couple beautiful guys. This guy Kevin and his brother, who actually ended up turning a little bit green last time I saw him. He's turning green, the brother, but yeah, amazing people, man. But let's see what they got here, man.
Hey Theo, hey Joe. My question for Joe is, how do you think your kids are going to react when they get older and you tell them what exactly it is that you do for a living? Are you looking forward to that, or are you kind of dreading it? That's a really good question. Shit, I impressed myself.
Dang. Well, these millennials.
That's it, man.
One question and they figure, you know.
That's it. He knows the word. I don't think he even wants an answer. He's like, I just crushed it. I will say that is a pretty good question.
It is a good question, man. I guess, I wouldn't think about that. Yeah, is it embarrassing? Is it...
It was definitely a shift when I had my daughter, and I was like, "Oh, her father's going to be doing this." And in my comedy, you feel a different responsibility with comedy. I think when you have kids and you know that this is what you're going, your legacy, you know.
Oh, I
this
see what
kind
you're
of thing.
saying.
Legacy was always a thing with me. Always, even growing up, even before I had anything, I always worried about what was I going to be remembered for.
Really?
Yeah, I was very heavily. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Sometimes nameless, my man.
One hell of a second grader.
Yeah, I was very aware of it.
Yeah. You're going to be known for not doing your homework if you don't quit daydreaming.
That's right. So I was, when I had kids, I was like, all right. And I feel like there's only been a couple times when I was in the edit of the show, and I was like, I don't want that to be out there for my daughter to see one day or my son, because our comedy is always about us too. It doesn't matter. And our show is edgy. It's like, I'm trying to make you fail. So I'm going to tell you the most screwed up stuff to say or do or whatever. But there's only been a couple times where I was like, I don't think I want to make that joke anymore or that, because being a father feels different, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
And is that kind of stuff, the being a father feels different? Is that stuff that you couldn't know that before?
No. Definitely not. I didn't, so I don't know how other people did, but I think it's kind of weird too, because the other guys don't have that, right? So it's like kind of like where, you know, I'm the father figure of the group, which is so weird and scary. But like, you know, like it's your best friends that you always confide in and have the same exact journey. I'm on the same ride, my 4 friends. Every first big thing in my career is with these guys, and it's their first 2, you know. First time we're playing Madison Square Garden all together. First cruise we did together, all that all the way through, you know.
Yeah.
And this is like the only one where you can't like connect with them on something about that, you know. So it feels a little bit in a vacuum, and you're trying to do your best with it, you know. So I think that's where it kind of weighs a little bit more, and you just try to do your best.
Has it been hard over? Sorry, let me make sure we fully answer this question. Did we get it, Nick? You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am. My daughter does watch the show sometimes because I watch the edits at home, and if I'm working at home in my office, she'll come in and she's like, "Are you watching you and your friends on the TV?" That's what she says.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, yeah or no, and then she'll just watch, and you know, at the end we give a green thumbs up or thumbs down, and she just doesn't. She just sits there and watches and waits for the thumbs, and if it's a thumbs up, she'll go, yes. And if it's a thumbs down, she go, "Oh, Dad, you got a thumbs down," and she get like mad. So it's really fun. Now I feel the pressure at all. I was like, I can't have my daughter. You know, that's kind of cute. But she doesn't really get what's going on yet at all. But I think she'll enjoy. She likes my humor. I make her laugh.
Oh, that's good. I can see that.
That's great. She's a little mini me. She looks like my wife. My spirit.
Really?
100% me. 100% weird, quirky, laughs like at anything. Like she's really very much my.
Do you see yourself having one of those shows like the Australian guy that died? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin's daughter, like taking over.
Yeah, they have a new show that's out now, and it's like, they're taking over.
Yeah, I think it's too big of a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, between that, I think, and there's so many reruns of our show. Who knows?
That's true.
By the time it's over, you're gonna have a bank of like 250 episodes. You can keep this thing going.
Probably still be. Well, yeah, that's true, huh?
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up. I'm trying to think. They had some of my favorite game shows on. Do you remember the one where it was in a house? It was like a fake house. There was 3 contestants. They were, I think, a team maybe. 3 teams of 2, and there was like a fake house. And then if they got a certain prize or something, they would compete on the floor. And then if they got a prize, and they had to run through the house and get different gifts, these boxes.
Vaguely remembering what you're talking about. It kind of felt like Supermarket Sweep a little bit.
Yes, it felt a little bit like Supermarket
that.
Sweep.
Yeah.
But it was like, they had these big houses, and then they would put them on this conveyor belt or something at the bottom, and they would open them and see if they had won.
What box they grabbed, what was in it?
Yeah. Like, and in the end, they had a whole bunch of boxes. The final group did.
Yeah.
And then they would open them all, and I think some of them could have money in them.
It's basically like watching those stupid Christmas videos. Those stupid videos that are on now it's just videos of kids opening toys.
I don't watch that.
You ever seen that?
No.
It's like the weird thing. People to watch. You're going to now, you watch one, you're going to, don't do it because you'll fall down a rabbit hole. It's just kids like opening stuff and being like, oh, blah, blah. And all kids flip out and watch it. It's like, it's good though because you don't have to buy your kids toys.
You think rabbit... Oh, that's a good point, huh?
They just go ahead. It saves you money, man. You pay for a YouTube subscription.
You think rabbits are in holes and like, how did we get the fucking... We don't do that shit.
I know.
Yeah, we're down here fucking... We're not watching YouTube.
YouTube? You what? Get over here, Hoppy.
This has nothing to do with us. Why do you keep using the term rabbit hole? They're probably fucking pissed, bro.
That's my thing. I'm down here trying to live.
Yeah, dude, we're just staying warm. Throw a carrot down, you asshole.
I'm trying to hide from a fox, fucker.
Yeah. You think we're down here watching YouTube?
What do you think they say, peephole hole? What are 2 rabbits talking to go, yo, don't go down that peeping hole.
Yeah,
peephole hole.
Jesus, I went down a people hole over there on 3rd Street.
Oh, 3rd, you gotta be careful over there, man.
God, bro.
That's in the Tenderloin district. Don't go down that people hole.
Dude, Tenderloin, everywhere somebody's got CDs, they got dope, everybody's got it.
They're selling everything from mixtapes to friggin' meth.
Mixed crotch.
Yeah, all of it.
Who wants that mixed crotch? Oh man, we got a question right here from somebody who's in witness protection. Actually, let's get to this.
Ever been punched in the face for playing a joke on somebody?
Okay, there you go.
I mean,
I don't know.
This.
It is
First of all, how do you?
unique name.
Okay, I have questions. How do you source this material?
Huh?
How do you source this material?
Open source.
How did you get this guy's video? Do you know this guy? Is that
No, that's a fan of Impractical Jokers. We had a lot of questions for you, but a lot of them are like kind of the same. What's your favorite prank? What's your favorite prank? So
they're always the same like that.
Yeah. So have you ever been punched in the face?
But it's not so much the question as it's how the creepy guy in the dark couch started punching his phone.
Very dark, and also that guy could be anywhere from the age of 13 to probably 51 or 52.
52, I was going to say.
Very unique child's body.
The
Silver
angle,
fox.
The angle, too. And it looks
Yeah.
like a light shade of lipstick on him. See that? He's got a wet lip. Look at right there. Like, see, it's a glistening lip.
He's got a wet lip. Jesus.
To answer your question, no. But also, I have so many questions for you.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy, I wonder if he's all right.
Yeah, we should maybe send somebody.
We'll send a video back.
Yeah, that's the people hole we were talking about. That's what the rabbits are talking about.
I remember one time I was working with Howie Mandel on a show. It was called Deal With It, right?
Yep.
And so I was working just as a host for him for a while. And so you would get people off the street and you would give one of them they would be coming to a restaurant, and then you'd give one of them an earpiece. You'd sneak them off. The waiter, when they went to the bathroom or something, would be like, all right, we're going to put an earpiece. We're going to start telling you things to do. The more you can do without the person at the table realizing you're on a game show, that's the only thing they can't realize, the more money you're going to make. So one time we get a couple to sit down, and it's a pimp and a prostitute we didn't know, right? So they get the lady to start messing with the pimp, right? So they start telling her like little things to do. And the third one, it's like, okay, reach over and take a piece of your man's food off of his plate or something. And she's like, nope, I can't do this shit, right? And I think she was worried that she was going to get abused. So we had to like we had to call the episode.
That's a bad
Call
one.
the prank the bit, yeah. But that was one of the craziest ones that I ever saw.
We always had trouble with couples. We were in IKEA, and I did a thing. I started a Friday night pillow fight. Like I just gave everybody pillows, and we had like 40 people doing a pillow fight all over. It was fun. But they did a thing where they wanted me. This is my second armoire story. Mm-hmm. They wanted me to say, they're like, Joe, to help this guy, tell him he's got to see this armoire. And you know how they have that path in IKEA where you just run, right? So he's like, go and make this guy follow. So this guy started running. I was like, it's over here. No, it's over here. It's over here.
Path, right?
And I just started basically jogging around all this furniture. And this guy was keeping up with me, whatever. And this is when I was bigger and fatter. And I was like out of breath and huffing and puffing. It was funny. And then they're like, get in the armoire, get in the armoire. So me and him get in the armoire. And it shuts. All you hear in the armoire is me panting, right? And sweating. And it's like, whatever. And it was really fun. Like, it's great. So now we go to sign the guy. They have to agree to be on TV. It's a two-party state where you could film somebody, but then they have to agree to be on TV.
In New York.
In New York. There's only like 5 or 6 states that are that way. So
It's a one-party state here, I think, Democrat.
Yeah.
Mostly. California. But yeah, you can't, you have to let them know in advance, really.
Yeah.
You have to let their parents know.
Yeah. So when we actually filmed out in LA for our 200th episode, it takes place here in LA.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a different procedure you had to do. Like, people had to know that they were being filmed. They had to couldn't do anything closed space. You couldn't do any stores. You had to be out in public, or the cameras had to be exposed. So like, if somebody walked in like this, they know they're being filmed. It's fine.
Right.
But then it doesn't really work. So you had to, like, we had a couple of things that were weird, but anyway, so we're in the armoire. We get out of the armoire. I'm like, dude, you were so funny. We'd love for you to be on the episode. And the guy was like, oh, it was really fun. He's like, I can't do that. He's like, I'm married and this isn't my wife.
Wow.
So he was shopping for discount furniture in IKEA.
And he bought a side piece.
He got bought a side piece.
Damn.
So yeah, he was like, I can't. He's like, and so that was like such a weird thing that we had happen. And then that has happened multiple times over filming where guys are like, oh, I can't.
Mistress.
Yeah, I'm with somebody that I'm not supposed to be with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's someone else, actually, and this is, hopefully this person's all right.
Hey Joe, hey Theo, this is Tim from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a big fan of both of y'all. I want to be a comedian eventually, whether that's doing stand-up or getting like a show like Impractical Jokers, and I just wanted to hear you guys' advice on being a comedian. What do you do coming up? What kind of open mics or whatever? I'm 17, still in high school. I plan on going to college, but my dream job is to do something like you guys do, and you can really tell with you guys, you're very genuine and you really enjoy doing what you do, and I want to do something like that,
That's nice of Tim.
Yeah, sounds like a nice young man.
He's got great comedic taste, obviously.
That's true.
Fan of you and
That's a
I. I
good
mean,
point.
the kid's a genius.
Yeah.
Well, you said earlier, like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen quick.
Yeah, it doesn't happen quick. That's the thing.
At all.
There's times where I wanted things to happen faster in my career, and I'm glad that they did it in hindsight, even though there's no way I could have known that then.
No way.
And I would be like, I would talk to my managers and agents. I'd be like, why does this person get this opportunity? And then you see other people get opportunities where they're not ready for them.
That's right.
So
that's a big pitfall, is to compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own path. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own time.
Yeah.
It might just not be your time yet. And also, you have to be prepared that it might not work out. I was always fine with, okay, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. I still was doing it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, because no one could take that enjoyment from you. Nobody has to validate that enjoyment.
Yeah.
You might not be getting paid for it, but if you're enjoying making people laugh, then that's it,
Yeah, it's funny. I've always felt that way. And then in the past, like, I think 6 months, for some reason, things started to get more stressful. I think just busier. And so it's like I've had like an adjustment period of like just figuring out, okay, what's going on? What do I want to be doing? What's really important to me?
Choices are the worst.
It's hard, huh?
When you have a decision of like, if you want to do this like that, because you know that you're leaving something behind. We went through that a little bit we figured it out finally, but with our movie. When we filmed our movie last year, we had to do it in between the season. So we filmed the first half of season 7, took a break to film the movie, came back and filmed the second half of season 7. So we're basically filming for like 16 months straight of Impractical Jokers, and like being away from home and everything. The only way to do it was that, or not do it.
Right.
And we're like, are we going to kill ourselves and do it, which we did, or are we just going to be like, all right, let's try to, hopefully the movie will still be around if we do it after season 7, blah, blah, blah. So when we had that choice and like thinking about that, it was always like, all right, what if we don't? And that I always feel the heaviest. You're always the heaviest there.
What, that if you don't do it?
The opportunity will be gone.
Right. Now, what were the stresses, though? I'm sure that was pretty stressful, especially if you had like young children.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of time of straight
No, it was
work.
the worst. Yeah, I was. I almost got divorced. It was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 5 months. I was 5 weeks away from home. My wife had a newborn son. My daughter, just basically like single parent in New York. Couldn't talk to her. I was on set for it was totally different than our show. I'm on a movie set for 16 hours a day. Like in our show, like we film for 3 hours. I would do some meetings and stuff, and then I could talk to her the whole time. Here I couldn't. I'm in Atlanta. Right. I'm away from home.
That's such it feels so. Yeah, I mean, that's intense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, for me, sometimes the stress of too much work, I've just realized it's too much sometimes. Yeah. Especially since I want to be a comedian. I want to be able to have my thoughts and, I need my brain to come up with fresh, fun ideas. Yeah. And if I work too much or if I'm overwhelmed and stuff, then I can't do that.
Do you feel like it changes you? Do you feel like it changes your mindset?
100%.
And you can't not be in a good mindset or in a good mood to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible. Like, it's totally counterproductive to what you're trying to do. And then that frustrates you and you're like, oh, if I wasn't thinking this way, it would be funny. And it's just like you go down a person hole.
Yeah, dude. I went down a person hole.
I went down a people hole. Yeah,
that's what happened. Yeah, dude, I went down a people hole.
Yeah.
That happened to me a lot this year, man. It was just figuring out, like, because we started podcasting so much and it's all been fun, but it's like, okay, now I'm a podcast host, or am I what am I? Am I a comedian? Am I, what's going on? To the point, because you're just, I would just go from one thing to the next, go on tour, come back, and then go, and it would just be like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Started to be like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. As long as you're being creative, I think if you're a creator, like,
but I was creating, but I didn't feel like I was being creative.
Got it.
I think I'm kind of I'm better if it's a little bit of a slow roll.
Yeah.
Then when it gets going too fast, I think I just can't. I don't know. I don't function that well in that space.
Yeah.
So some of it for me, it's just been learning where, how do I function as an artist or as a communicator. But I think for this young guy, I think there's a lot of ways you can do entertainment now.
So much more.
Yeah, I mean, you could put out your own videos. You even see guys doing like voices of like they'll have animals that are fighting or arguing in the wild.
Yeah. They'll do anything. Yeah. Anything. But I mean, if you think about like how crazy, like I wish, like so much is lost on these kids today, as far as like people wanting to do stuff, and everybody's always worried about the followers and this and that. But if you just realize that this kid has two heroes in comedy, and he, just because he has a cell phone, has a camera, was able just to ask him a direct question, and they were talking about him to him. How does that not blow everybody's mind? How does that just not, like, are you kidding me? Like, that's where we're at in the world, where you have such access to people, to celebrities via Twitter, Instagram, any podcast.
Oh yeah, last night I'm a Saints fan. Last night AJ Klein, I'm a big Saints fan.
Yeah,
he caused a fumble last night, and I sent him I was just so fucking ecstatic, and he wrote me back, and I haven't even read it. I'm like saving it.
That's great.
It's gonna be like the highlight of my day later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy how you can communicate. Yeah, but and also just how you can create, and how you can put stuff out there. You can be an impersonator. You can try different things.
You could try and fail with no risk. Like, you could try, like, if you think about, like, back in the day, like, if you wanted to do like a short film, like, you'd have to find the money, you'd have to shoot it, you'd have to digitize it, like capture the tapes and bring it over to, like, then you have to edit it and do all the stuff. Then you have to put it out where are you putting it out? You have to like show people or send it out.
You got to sell it.
Yeah, you got to do it. Now, no, like, and then it's bad. Because everybody's is bad, so then it's bad, and then you just go ahead and do it.
Every short film is bad.
Every short film is miserable across the board. First one, second ones are normally better. Well, like anybody's first short film, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody's first short film like that was good.
They're like the CBD oil of entertainment, dude. You know what I realized the other day? I don't think CBD oil does anything. That's what I realized, bro. I was talking to some dude. He's like, yeah, I've been using a lot of drugs, but I've also been using CBD oil. But he only seemed like he'd been using drugs. And then I thought about like all the CBD oil I've rubbed into my body. And it's like, shit, it hadn't been that super. I don't think it does shit, man.
I think CBD stands for snake.
Snake oil, yeah, that's
snake
right.
Oil.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be Central Business District, and now it's just a body cream, It just, I don't know, things have gotten strange. But yeah, I think if you're 17 and you like humor, there's so many ways you can end up in it. But I do, though, my favorite things to do were to make my friends laugh, man.
100%.
Dude, being at school, being at the lunch table.
That's what's weird for me because that is my job, and I still get that. That's not taken from me. We always say, oh, I wish I knew the glory days when I lived. We know this is the best job we'll ever have. This is the best scenario for anybody in the world, comedian or not. You get paid to hang out with your friends and make them laugh. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So, like, and we can't really point a finger at many other groups that had even a similar kind of thing. Everybody else is cast together. Or even any big successful show was a sitcom that somebody's writing for them. You know, it's not like, oh, this is going to make Sal laugh. Like, you never said that. Like, it's not like, oh, this is gonna, like, there's a sense of, like, accomplishment when you make your friend laugh, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what helps it.
Yeah, with you guys' show for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many, it's like you can always kind of relate yourself to one of the characters. You always, every guy wishes they got to do that with their friends.
Yeah. It was pretty funny that one of our agents was talking, and when they were going back in for a negotiation, like one of the points that he was making, you know, what agents always ramp themselves up by talking to you, you know, so they're going in for, I think it was like season 5 or whatever. And he was like, tell me another reality show where somebody's like, oh, you know, everybody always used to say, oh, I'm a Ross, I'm a Rachel, right, from Friends, or like, oh, I'm George, you know, like that. They're like, people say I'm a Sal. He's like, who cares that much about a reality show? He's like, nobody cares about that. And this is like a little bit around one of the Kardashians. He's like, and that was the only other one where people were like, I'm like that with the Kardashians, you know? And it was like, nobody does that with reality shows. Nobody, you know, is like that. Everybody forgets the name of everybody when it's over in a season. He's like, you guys are on your 5th season and you're characters, but you're not. You're yourself. Right. So he's like, that doesn't exist. And that was always the way the fans interact with us. They always feel like they know us.
Oh, it's crazy. Dude, my greatest fans of my comedy to this day, I think that I still meet up with when I'm on the road, whether it's for a meal or something like that, or fans that I met from you guys. Cruise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, Kevin, there's a girl and her mom down in Florida. I meet up with them. Another group took me to Disneyland one time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
nobody took me to Disneyland. How are you getting taken to Disneyland?
You are Disneyland. You can't.
I just took my daughter to Disneyland, paid full price, 3 tickets.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you get the guide? Did you get the guide that takes you? Yeah.
I get the guide.
It's expensive.
But worth every penny.
You
know what? We crushed that park. We got in and out of everything. It was great.
Yeah, somebody told me about that guide. I had my family come in town, and I was like, and they're like, you got to get this guide. I talked to Joey Diaz. He's like, you get the fucking guide. You go over there, fucking look, somebody dies. It's not on you, Papa. You know?
You get it. They walk you in. It's so great. But the same day I was there, Steven Tyler was there.
Really?
And there's this paparazzi that's called, I forget what it's called on Instagram. I think it's called Day at Disney.
I think it's called Grand Paparazzi now, I think.
It's like the Day at Disney like Instagram account. It's like it's just celebs who are at Disney. And there's a picture of me and my family, me, my wife, and my daughter. But they blur out kids' faces out of respect, which is cool. And it's me and them. And then the next picture is like Steven Tyler buying like a T-shirt at like the merch station.
Dude, I was just in Maui, and that's where he lives. So I heard all kinds of stories about him while I was there.
Yeah.
Just and I went and saw them, actually. I saw Aerosmith me and Nick went.
Yeah. They're playing Vegas now, right?
3 months ago, we went and saw it. Dude, it was awesome.
Great.
Yeah, it was incredible.
He just canceled a show last week. They're still doing like a Vegas residency because he had a sore throat. So he couldn't, age finally catching up to him, I guess.
Yeah. That happens, you know. We all get old, all right? Don't judge so hard in the booth.
Do you... this is Nick's first time in the booth. The booth is just open, too.
Oh, wow. Where are you normally?
Sitting out there, I had the table set up. It was cumbersome.
Okay.
Sure.
So you like this better?
It's all right. It's all right.
Kind of feel like I'm visiting you at jail right now.
Yeah. Nick probably should be in jail. Yeah. So
we don't talk about that.
Has there been any points where any of the group has you guys have had to talk anybody to stay and people wanted to change, or
just before we did this, just before the show took, literally like our last meeting, I was going to be like done with it. We were at my apartment. We had gone down a path of doing a lot of sketch comedy, and I don't really feel like I'm very funny in sketch. I don't feel funny when I'm acting.
Right.
You know, people are like, oh, you already took my. I'm like, I just don't feel it. You know what it's like? So I don't feel like it's my best way to make people laugh. So I wasn't really feeling the path we were going down. Scripted shows we were thinking of, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And then the opportunity came up. They're like, hey, you know, prank shows are big right now. Mario's like, what if we did our version of a show like that? And I was like, well, this embarrassment comedy is always how I made my friends laugh. Sure, let's try it. And that's how we came up with Jokers. But if we were going to go down to another scripted one, I would have been out. There's
a guy I met one night at a bar here called The Mint. It does I was there for I don't know, something I didn't want to be at or something probably. Like I think now it's actually a pet restaurant. Can you believe they have this shit out here?
Really? You bring your pet and eat with it?
Yeah, or you can meet up and have fucking dinner with other fucking pets, dude.
That's weird. I've heard of a cat place where you could have tea with a cat. Like they're like just fucking. It's basically just feral cats inside, and they're just roaming around. And you just sit down, and cats like sit on your lap while you drink tea.
Yeah, you don't think Satan's watching that? If Satan's watching anybody, it's people that are meeting up with cats for tea.
That's it, by themselves.
Easily.
Dipping a biscotti into an Earl Grey. Like, that's somebody you fucking watch. I don't trust that. Yeah. Even more than anybody I meet in the Tenderloin district, I do not trust the guy that walks in with his AirPods and sits down with a stray cat.
Yeah.
And it has a snack.
Oh, yeah, dude. Somebody fucking splitting up a little butterscotch biscotti with a fucking Persian.
If he pops
cat.
If he pops make sure there's a cat there. Yeah. What's a word there's original in? I'm out. I'm out.
Jesus Christ, man. It's just a different world out there now. But yeah, this place, they had a guy I met in there one night, and he starts talking. He had on this white glove, and they had karaoke in there as well. And at one point...
You can't casually add that they have karaoke in there as well. That's a big point.
Yeah, look, dude. It's one of those places that wasn't going to make it.
They're trying everything. They're throwing shit at the wall. They're like, what if we brought in karaoke and one of those indoor like skydiving things? Let's do it.
Yeah. But it's a wedding.
You guys don't get it?
Yeah. So this guy, he wore a white glove and he kept singing karaoke. And he had been like the fifth member of a band that had made it huge. Like it could have been Motley Crue, I feel like. And he got out like literally the week before. And I went and read the stories and stuff about it, and it's really, and he was still singing the songs and wearing like this white glove. Like you could tell he was still like living. And I guess he'd kind of become like a kind of a fixture within that karaoke place, you know? And so I think, you know, he had like it, you know, at least he had his thing, you know?
Yeah.
But he had gotten out of this. Yeah, he'd gotten out of this group right before.
That's
it was a little tragic.
Yeah. If you don't recover from it, you know what I mean?
Right.
To get out of it because you want to get out of it and not be in that world anymore is one thing, because then you're okay with it. It doesn't matter. Who cares what happens? But if you get out of it because you don't necessarily like the people, you don't have faith in what's going on with that group, and you're going like, I'll try it on my own and make it, that sucks. Like, that is the worst, to be like, oh, you know, I'll just go my own way, and that they're holding me back, and next thing you know, they break, and you're sitting there with your white glove, you know, trying to serve, you know, Jello pudding pops to people.
Yeah, dude. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were a kid, like some of the, like just like the kind of stuff that made you laugh? Do you remember who made you laugh a lot when you were a kid?
Yeah, I definitely.
Not even entertainers, or just people, like in just.
Oh well, yeah, people. My I come from a funny family. You know, my uncles were always funny and telling jokes and stuff too. So I got the old Italian uncles, which are fun. And you know, my sister's probably the funniest person I know. My sister Carla, she's the version of me. Like, it's hysterical. Like, she's great. She's loud. She's fun. My parents were both very funny, but in very different ways. And they always said my oldest sister got my dad's humor, my middle sister got my mother's, and I was the perfect match of both of them. Oh. So like, my father was like that dry kind of delivery, could make the room crack with 3 words, like that's it, you know. And my mother was just loud, boisterous, center of attention. Everybody looked at her to make a good time, like that kind of thing. So they were very interesting. You know, my story about my father was, he used to go. I play craps, you know that. Like, so
there's water right there if you need it. You know.
Yeah,
okay.
He played craps all the time, and we go down to Atlantic City, and he was in Atlantic City playing in like the 80s or whatever, and there's these 2 gangster guys with cigars at the end, these 2 big Italian mobster like guys, and he's playing craps, and he rolls up next to him, and there's this woman, a heftier woman at the end, rolling. Mm-hmm. And she's rolling for a while, and the 2 guys are having a good time. So every time before she rolls, they're like, "All right, come on, you fat bitch, let's do it." And then she did it like, "Yeah," you know, they would say that loud enough or whatever. And so, you know, she's rolling and winning everybody money or whatever. And so my father, she's just about to roll. They're like, "Come on, we need a hard 6, you fat, you know, come on, you pig," like that and shit like that. And my father just turns to these 2 mobsters and goes, "Sorry guys, could you stop talking about my wife that way?" And just turns back and looks. And then he looks and he goes, "Just fucking with you." And they fucking lost to these 2 like big fat mobs. Like, this guy's like crazy, you know, shit like that. So he had that like that funny like dry, like their jaw dropped, like they're like, "What the fuck," you know, kind of idea. So like he had that sense of humor like that, where he would just like say weird shit, just enough to get people really uncomfortable and then break them. So
Yeah, that reminds me of Norm Macdonald. I was somewhere with him. I was doing a show in Oklahoma City or Oklahoma somewhere, and it was a poker tournament too. Jerry Mathers was there, the Beaver.
Wow, man.
Dude, who I love. I had pictures all over
Holy
of my
shit.
room growing up because his name was Theodore, right?
Yeah.
So I was like a huge fan.
Yeah.
And I even talked to him while I was there. I was like, hey, man, I said, I'm a big fan. He goes, oh, where do you live? And I was like, oh, I live in Santa Monica. And he goes, I swear to God, he goes, I used to go get some pussy in Santa Monica. And it just, I didn't know what happened then. I just fucking went down a hole.
A pussy hole.
I went down something. It was just crazy. All these years that I built up in my head of us running into each other.
That's the sentence
And that's
he
what he
says,
said.
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, he was 80 years old or 77.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was him and that guy Ralph Mouth. But
Yeah.
anyway, Norm Macdonald was there, and there's like, we're standing there. There was a mostly men there and a couple of women, not attractive women to me.
Mm-hmm.
Norm said, oh man, a lot of real hotties here, huh? And I'm thinking, oh, Norm's older than me, and he probably doesn't even meet any women, so these women are probably very attractive to him, And I was just placating. I was like, yeah, a lot of real lookers, Fuck, I'll take my eyeballs out and just set them on one of these ladies' shoulders, a lot of real beauties. And he goes, yeah, right. And he was joking. He was totally joking. Like he was like, "Oh, these are the fucking most busted women I've ever seen in my life." You're like, shit. Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, right."
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "Damn, bro. Well,
Okay.
So much for being nice to your elders,
That's it.
dude. This
Yeah, I
guy's
know.
a fucking."
Yeah, I went to Mel Brooks is huge.
Oh,
number
wow.
one. I actually got to meet him. It was 2 weeks after we had played Radio City, and he was doing. He does that live tour every now and again. He still doing it. 91 years old. He shows Blazing Saddles or Young Frankenstein, screens it, and then does a Q&A after for like an hour.
Wow.
So we went. I took my two sisters who we grew up watching. I was like, for a Christmas gift, I'm like, I got this for you. So we went. The three of us. We all grew up watching the movies. It was great. We watch them. After we're about to leave. And I see the little security guard that I had met weeks before when we played. And I was real nice to whatever. And he goes, Joe, I said, hey, he goes, you want to go down you want to go come in and say hey? And I was like, yeah, of course I want to say hey to Mel Brooks. So he takes us downstairs, and underneath Radio City, there's just like an old bar that they just keep open for family and friends. And it's a big room. So we go down and we sit in there, and then here comes Mel. He's walking in. And he comes by, and I'm like, oh, this is my hero of all time, or whatever. So I walk up, and I'm like, he's like, the guy introduced me. He's like, this is our friend Joe. And he's like, hey, Joe. I was like, Mr. Brooks, I'm a huge fan of yours. I just want to say thank you. I got into comedy because of you. You made me laugh, whatever. I was like, me and my sisters are both huge fans, and are all fans are. And, we grew up watching you. And my sister's like behind me. He goes, your sisters? I said, yeah. I go, yeah, my sisters, they're here with me. I brought them. And he goes, okay, my sisters, bring the sisters. And he pushes me away, mushes me. And he gets here and he starts taking pictures. Like, kiss my cheeks. And he starts taking pictures with my sisters or whatever. And it was so cool. I was like, can I get one, you think? And he's like, all right, just one. And we all got in. And I was like, that was like the coolest thing ever. Like this 91 old dude is, he's still going to get the lady. He's like, come here, come here. It was so great. Really cool.
That's beautiful, man.
That was a really, really cool moment for me.
Perving out a little at that
bit.
age. I
That's
love
it.
it.
That's
I
it.
saw Bob Newhart about 6 years ago.
Oh, really?
Or 7 years ago in Chicago, and it was, I thought the jokes, I was like, I think he's just reading these jokes off the internet. Like, I think he literally printed some jokes out off the internet and was reading them.
Well, he's all delivery anyway, right? So,
But then I thought to myself, well, maybe he made those jokes up because they were just like internet jokes,
Yeah.
So, but it was pretty wild to see him.
Don Rickles, me and Sal got to see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I knew he loved Rickles, and my mom was a big gambler, and he was playing in Atlantic City. So I asked my mom to get us tickets, and I took him.
Damn, was that awesome?
Probably one of the most unbelievable performances. Like, you can't even, like, you see it, and you're just like in awe that it's happening, and then it's over before you know it. Like, you can't even.
Was he on stage the whole time?
Stage the whole time. It was just ripping him apart. It was great. Yeah, he was unbelievable. Yeah, that's probably one of the best live performances I ever did. But growing up, I loved, like, Richard Jeni was big. My dad liked Richard Jeni, the comic, and
he got murdered, didn't he?
Yeah, he got murdered. Yeah. This was before 23andMe, so we still don't know who did it.
Ooh.
And he was big, and then Tim Allen. We used to watch.
Yeah.
We used to watch his show all the time, Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Together. So that was another big one for me.
Yeah, you remember Supermarket Sweep?
Yeah. Yeah.
That show was
It's
good.
great.
Huh?
I just got to play $100,000 Pyramid. They invited us to play in the reboot that Strahan
Oh,
did.
really?
Yeah, so we just played it this summer. We played it.
Was it
great.
fun?
Dude, it was so fun. So fun. It was such a good time. Yeah. And now this is the thing about doing Misery Index. Like you're playing a game show and it's like that gloss. It's like legit. It's like a legit, like we walked in, I was like, oh my God, they like spent some money on the set. Like it's a legit, like they got the big, like, the big display that's like super LED and like the buzzers and all that stuff. I was like, this is really, really cool to be in part of like a real like game show, you know? Yeah. Because I grew up, I think all our generations, like that was huge that was TV.
Oh yeah,
For
no
longest time.
whammies, all of that, dude.
Yeah. That was the
Supermarket Sweep was so good.
Yeah,
though.
Supermarket Sweep. was
Seeing
fun.
somebody just bite
bite
it,
it.
running to get a
And
ham.
then yelling at them because they get rice. It's like, why are you getting rice?
Get the ham.
Everybody needs a ham.
There's one where somebody had a stroke during it. I remember too.
Really? I don't know
Yeah.
that one.
You can't. They don't really know it on the show, but it seemed like they think the guy was just kind of having a blast. But you could tell he had a stroke. I know a stroke.
You know a stroke when you see one?
I mean, yeah, I think I do.
Okay.
You know what
You've
I'm
ever seen a stroke coming away? I had one about 20 minutes ago.
You really? Oh, damn, bro. Well, you have those fucking slow strokes,
Oh, yeah,
bro.
I do. I like to pace them out.
Oh, I like that.
Pretty sure the guy who asked us a question with the wet lip was in the middle of one.
Any more questions that came in?
We just had one Patreon question. Marissa Bruno asked, how did you become so passionate about animals, especially senior dogs?
My wife, she introduced me to that. We bought a dog. I have 5 dogs. I have Cannoli, Biscotti, Tartufo, Spumoni, and Pignoli right now.
Oh, damn,
Yes, I
huh?
got 5 dogs. Yeah, Pignoli's in a rotating
Got a
spot.
dessert hole.
Yeah, that's it. That's oh, they're all left. I'm fat Italian, so I name them all. We also had Zeppeli and Mishkin, who are not with us anymore. God bless. But we have like we bought our first dog, Cannoli, together when she was living here because she needed something, and I was like, well, let's get a dog together. So we bought the dog, and then it instantly was like all sick, and we spent like in the first year we spent like $2,000 on like tests and surgeries and stuff like that. And she just like started doing research and realized how bad puppy mills are, and then like how many good dogs are on England, blah blah. And she found a lot of good adoption agencies, so we just started adopting. So it was really because of her, and then I fell in love with it on my own. And then I honestly believe that no dog loves you like a rescue dog. It's insane.
Really?
It feels like, yeah, because Cannoli would be walking around the house kind of entitled. Like you'll call them, she'll
Yeah.
come last. You know, she'll be like, I'm here now, like that.
Right.
You know, but like the other ones, like they're always so happy to see you. When I go home, it's insane because I'm on the road,
Yeah.
So when I come home from like 10 days or whatever, I can't get them off me. It's insane. Like they just attack you and want to be on you. You sit down, they're all jumping on you. You lay in the bed, they're all on you.
Damn.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts, but it's good.
And do you trust all of them?
No. There's one I know that's shitting in the
Really?
corner. No, it's actually, it gets easy when you have a pack. Like Biscotti, who's my favorite. They listen. If they're listening, they know. So my Biscotti's my favorite. She's the second one, and she's like the pack leader. It's easier with a pack. Like I'll bring in a dog. Once Biscotti shows them what to do, it's insane. They just, all right, we all go in this room now. We all got time to go outside. They all go. They just follow her. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, she's like the pack little pack leader.
And for them to be able to pack like that, do they have to be the same breed of dog or anything?
Nope. Wow. Nope. There's a couple of tricks that you could do for it. If you're going to introduce a new dog in the house, it's better to have the dog in the house by itself for a day. And then when the dogs come home, the dog's there. So it's like a great trick that we had found out in the beginning. So I'll send the dogs away to daycare or whatever, and they'll sleep out. And then we'll have the dog make it move around the house or whatever. They come home, there's a dog in the house. That's it. It's insane. It's just, okay, they're part of the family. That's it.
And do they have any like racial or kind of territorial issues between them, the animals?
Just when it's time to go to bed.
Wow.
Who sleeps where? Yeah. Because we have a king bed, and my wife's on one side, and then little Pignoli, who is like, I got a picture of Pignoli. I'll show
Yeah,
you.
get that animal out here, bro. Or you could draw it too. I wish I had some ink
Well,
out
this
here.
is. I just want your reaction when you see Pignoli, because Pignoli's something special. But Pignoli's in our rotating spot. We have a fifth dog spot, which is the senior spot, and that's Pignoli.
Whoa, huh? Pignoli been working freelance, huh?
Pignoli's got one up. Yeah,
Pignoli used to work on the highway, huh?
Pignoli's got
Oh,
one.
wow, boy.
It's basically roadkill. That's just rolling around my house. Sweetest dog in the world, man. Super cuddly. But she They found her in a tenement building, just all matted in the lobby, living under the stairs. So they think it just came out of somebody's apartment and whatever. But she's got no teeth. She's deaf, blind, one eye, a little bit of dementia.
Oh wow!
So,
Take her to one of these restaurants one night.
No, I've got it. We're great. But she's super cute and cuddly. So we like to, for the senior dog, we just kind of give him a good way out. Like we had a couple dogs before this that one lasted 7 months, one lasted a year and a little bit, and Pignoli we have for about. What do I got, Pignoli? 2 months now? Yeah, about 2 months now. So,
have you? This is the last question I have. So, have you noticed like that, like your success and stuff? Was there any point in your career where you felt like it started to kind of change you, and you had to kind of like see what was going on with yourself, or was there like where you got like?
No, I think
not in a bad way.
No,
but just in a way.
Anyway, yeah.
It's a huge thing, man.
There's a thing about when you become famous and strangers want your time and energy.
Right.
And you have a family. I think that was a thing for me. Like, it's like, and I still struggle with that. Me and my wife are very open and honest about it. I don't know, like when I have my daughter with me, if you see me when I'm out with my family, you don't get to see me when I'm not with my family.
Right.
You know, because I'm trying to be protective of my family unit. You
right.
know, and this is spend time and energy with them, you know. So I think that's the one thing that I've always been trying to figure out. And my wife, I wasn't trying to be famous.
Right.
When we met and got married. Like I wasn't doing this. You know, when we got together, I got married, we were in it, but when we got together, I was a salesman. So this kind of got thrusted upon her as well to be like, oh, your husband's going to be famous now.
Yeah.
So now you have to share him with the world. So
she's like, I fucking, yeah.
You know,
I was just trying to get 20% off.
That's it. You know, I know. I'm looking for a coupon. You know, now she's got to deal with this. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge. But the good thing about getting famous together with your friends is everybody keeps each other in check.
Yeah.
You know how you are with your boys. Somebody
could
gets
see
out of
that.
line, you smack them and what are you doing?
Yeah, I could see that. Well, that's one thing that's neat about improv, and one thing that's a little bit different about stand-up, you're just kind of by yourself a lot. So with improv, or with your group, you know, with the Tenderloins and with the Jokers, it's like you guys have that group.
Yeah, the group mentality helps because if somebody starts going their own way, it's like come back.
Biscotti's like, hey.
Biscotti brings it back in. I'm Biscotti goes out and says, come on, get back in here for a second. You know? Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much. Is it Gatto or Gatto?
Gatto.
Yeah.
Gatto. This is great, man. I really appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much, man. You've always been just one of every time I see you, I just remember what a kind soul you are. So I appreciate you coming, man.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, it's an honor. And you guys have so many friends, dude. How do you everybody I know is y'all's friend?
We're from the guys. Yeah, you know, we try to, that's why I like coming out to LA when I'm out in LA, like, especially if I'm able to get together some social stuff, I try to make sure I see, and there's some people I like to see when I'm out here because it's good to keep in contact with people. Like I said earlier, there's a commonality between us that it's kind of fun, and I'm enjoying that. Like I'm being in the comedy world with people that make me laugh and stuff. We have cool opportunities, like to have people work with us and work with people, it's fun.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, it's a good point, dude. I love it, man. Well, I'm grateful you came here today.
Can I ask you for one favor?
Yeah.
My cousin Michael Polano is a huge fan of yours.
He is?
Yes, he's a huge fan.
Michael Polano?
Michael Polano.
Wait, he works on your show?
Yeah, he's my cousin and he's a cameraman.
Because isn't it true that you guys now have everybody from your neighborhood and family working on your show?
Such nepotism. There's literally it's so many people. Well, so many people work for us for free for so many years. So I was had to be I
love that though. It's so great. Michael Polano, huh?
Yeah.
That hitter, bro. We'll have to send him something nice.
He wanted to. I actually almost flew him out here to come. But he's a teacher. So.
Where?
He's in Jersey.
Where at?
Ocean Township High School.
Because I'm supposed to be in Sayersville coming up sometime soon. I don't know how far away that is.
No, it's not that far.
It isn't?
Yeah. I like to. And he said to say gang.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, gang. Yeah, that's it, man. What does he teach, dude?
Yeah, he teaches television production.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, he got a scheme going on there, man. It's great. What a scheme. It's great. All the kids there.
Mr. Palanco, that's his name?
Polano.
Mr. Polano.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Michael,
man. I would take his class.
Yeah, he's a good teacher.
Michael, I'd be in there. Gang, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for sending Joe my way, Michael. I appreciate it, man. And whenever I get over there to Jersey, I'll have to pop in.
Yeah.
Pop into the class. That might be cool.
Oh, they would lose their mind. You kidding me?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, you don't have to do all that. But,
well, now I've kind of sentenced myself.
No, I mean, I did come all the way here from New York.
All right. We'll figure it out, man. We'll make something work.
I love you, dude. You're awesome.
Love you too, man. Thank you so much, bro.
You got it.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones, but it's gone. gonna take a little time for me to set that parking brake and let myself unwind. Shine that